Hey there, welcome to another Faithmade tutorial. I am Andrew and I'll be your guide through this video. In this video we're going to look at creating your first event on your Faithmade website, as well as some of the event management going forward. So there's a few places events display. The first one is on the home page. If you scroll down, you'll see a featured events area. Only events that are categorized as a featured event will show up here. Let's be honest, not all events are created equal, and so we want to be able to feature certain events over others. So we have a place on the homepage just for that. And don't worry, if you don't have any events that are featured events, this place disappears automatically, so it doesn't look like just an empty space for website visitors. The other place is on the events page. And here we have Sundays at 9 a.m. Just a pro tip from us that if obviously you're going to have weekly recurring services for Sundays, probably for youth, I would, or like Wednesday night Bible study, I would recommend not putting those on your main calendar and instead use that as a place for a call to action for someone to visit. And then just reserve this for the other one-off events, conferences, outreaches, etc., mission trips, whatever. So let me click on an event and you'll see what we have here is just a title, the background, the featured image, registration event or registration for the event, link to whatever third-party registrar that you use, like Eventbrite. Maybe your church management system has forms for people to be able to pay and register for an event. Hopefully we'll be able to pull those in here soon. We have the description, another RSVP, and then date, location, time, information over here. And you'll see, like, for example, this one says after service. This event occurs after service. So we have a few other things built in for churches to be able to dictate the type of date and time that they want to display. So let's go ahead and go to our dashboard. And from here, we're going to click on events, and this is going to pull up a list of all the events that we currently have on our website. Now you'll notice we only had one event showing, and it's set to after service featured event. And the reason is this one is in draft mode, and this one, the date has already passed, January 26th. So the first thing you're probably going to want to do when you come here is delete the events that we already have. So you can just select all there and move those to trash. And now you have a clean slate to add your church's events. So what we want to do is click Add New. This is going to bring up our events interface. And we're going to call this a great event. That gives us a title. Next, we select the date and time. You can either type it in up here, or you can select it down here. Let's make it for March 7th. And we're going to make it from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. 9 p.m. Next, we are going to look at the adding a venue. Now, your first time here, the only event menu is the one that we have made for you. So let's call this your church. And you'll see the first time you're making this, there is no venue called your church, so you'll have to create it. And we are going to, I want to give it a real address because I want the menu link to, or the Google Maps link to work. Now this is my address, so if you want to send me money, this is it. We don't need to add a website. We're not using that really, but it's there. And then for the event information, we're going to give this event a short, succinct, if I could spell it, description. And I'm just going to copy this in a few times so you can see. Now, our registration URL, you don't have to add this. If you don't add a registration URL, then the button for registration is just hidden by default because it's not needed. We are going to add a registration URL here, and then we're going to say, like, click to register. If it's a free event, there's no cost that will show. If there is a cost, we just put it here. Cost is $20. And then below this, you can add your own title and description. Usually, I just recommend copying this into the meta description, and that way, this is showing Google exactly what your exactly what your event is about. And you'll see right here the character count is 375, but the recommended length is much shorter. So let's tweak this to make sure it looks better on Google for us. So now I'm down to 139. And now if I scroll back up, everything on this side is done. We have the event, registration added. We have the date and time right here. We have our venue. Now we want to come over here to the this column to work with the whole document as well. So the first thing we have is event extras. And here the first item is after service. So some of you may have a special next steps course or something like that that happens directly after service. Maybe you have multiple services, and so it just says this happens after each service. If you have multiple services, let us know. We can jump in and tweak some of the language on whether it happens after each service, whether it happens after the last service. Whatever you need, we can do that. Just drop us a line in the chat bubble here. Next, we have a featured event. Like I said, not all events are created equal. If you tag featured event, it will show up on the home page. It only shows 2 featured events at a time because we don't want to overwhelm our visitors, and we want them to focus on the closest 2 that are coming up. Next, we have hide all times. Sometimes, for like an all-day event or for a multi-day event, we don't need exactly a starting time. People just need to know what day it's happening. It's more for informational purposes than anything else. We have show end date. So if you have a conference, something of that nature, that's a missions trip that's multiple days, you can click this to show the end date. And then the show end time as well. You have to add an end time up here when you're making the event. But when you're displaying the event on the front end, most people don't need to know that this event lasts from 6:30 to 8:30. Most people just, if it's church, it's going to last an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. And we're just going to show this event starts March 7th at 7 p.m. That's what I'm going to do. And next, we have the event categories. You can categorize your different events based on what they're for. So we're going to say this is, let's call it marriage. And lastly, here is our featured image. And what we're going to do here is find, you can upload an image for one. So select the file, upload it here. What we're going to do is find an image that we want to use and set this featured image. And after you do this, you should be done, and we can click publish. It's making sure we're ready to publish. Do you really want to do this? And yes, we want to do it, so we click publish. And now we can jump over to the front end to see our new event. You can see it's click to register. It has our price, our text that we added, our description. I click show end time instead, and so what we need to go back and do is edit this event. And so on the event extras, I don't want to show the end time. I just want people to know it starts at 7. So I'm going to update it again and view the event. And now it just has the start time instead. And as mentioned, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make it just a featured event and after service and update. I'm going to go view it. And now it says that this happens after service. And since I clicked featured, it should also now show up on the home page. And that's how you get started with events on your Faithmade website.